So in this short video, I will be sharing with you trauma plus narcissist equal curses. Fix these 6 things to unlock your blessings. So I've tried recording this video 2 times already. Once I had to leave it because I had my pot in the stove that almost burned. And number 2, my neighbor came in the backyard blasting music. So the 3rd time is the trauma. So trauma, for me, I endured sexual, physical, emotional trauma, and I generally mention narcissistic abuse. It's not a separate thing from emotional abuse, but I find that it is highly impactful. It is really toxic. So I give it a different level of weight because it's almost like a demon inhabiting your inner world. And it takes incredible strength for you to take yourself away from something like that and to get to a place of healing where you're not a bitter person and where you're able to wish healing for people that are able to live in such a dark space. So other than having the knowledge that narcissists are in no way, shape, or form able to experience spiritual blessings, because we have 3 minds. We have the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, and the superconscious mind. When you get deep into spiritual realm, you may hear people talk about different level minds, but in this plane, there's the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. And for you to even begin to tap into your conscious, much more the superconscious, which is your higher self, you cannot live in the subconscious mind, which is where the narcissists dwell. They live on a daily basis coming, if you check out the vibrational chart, vibrational frequency chart, you'll see that the different level of chaos that narcissists live through on a daily basis and inflict in your life, from the shame, the apathy, all the different fear and everything, it's on the lower part, in the alpha part of the vibrational frequency chart. So for a person to be able to experience conscious, much more super conscious, they have to be coming from a space of enlightenment to be able to experience true love, and I'm not referring to romantic love, just true love, like oneness, where you know that we are all brothers and sisters, one creation, regardless of whether we were stemmed from different bloodlines or whatever the case. The main bloodline is through creation. So when you go through any kind of trauma, everyone on this planet is here for a reason, and we're spirits having human experiences, and everyone has some kind of trauma of some sort that they're suffering through. It doesn't have to be sexual, physical, or emotional. Some people can live through trauma because they've gone through sickness or saw a loved one die and struggle with that. So we each have our different trauma that we live through. But for people who are unhealed from the trauma, even if they've left the traumatic situation and left the abusive situation, they may feel like they may be planting seeds, but they're not materializing. They may feel like, okay, I've planted, I've sown. Why is this not working out? And this is where the curses that I spoke of in the title comes from. So I'll be sharing with you 6 things that needs to be fixed in order for you to experience and unlock your blessings. There could be many more things. There are many more things that definitely could be worked on, but these 6 things are heavy hitters, and the final one will shock the crap out of you. So, as I mentioned to you, narcissism is a dark thing. And if you're watching this video, whether it be purely for awareness, or you're living through any kind of the trauma that I mentioned, then it doesn't mean that you have to be suffering narcissistic abuse to be able to unlock these blessings. They're there for all of us. But narcissists in general, they are a different level of chaos. And one of the big lessons that I keep telling people and sharing in these videos is that the main reason why we find ourselves in states of dealing with trauma still is because we need to understand the lesson of duality. Duality, darkness and light. And if you're in any traumatic situation, relationship, could be with a parent, could be with a family member that you are close to, and if you are not a narcissist, then you are the person of light. If you're not the person inflicting the abuse and the trauma, you are a person of light. And one of the things that you are in the situation, as sad and as heavy as they are to learn, is about duality. Many of us who are people of light, especially speaking for myself as an empath, and I know I'm not the only one who has lived through this or sees things this way, is that empathic and empathetic people who have good hearts obviously want to do good and be good. So we don't try to look for the darkness. And even if we see it, we just try to gloss it over and say, I don't want to see it. I don't want to learn about it. I don't want to know about it. I just want to focus on being good and doing good. That is good and that is great. But the reason why you find yourself in this situation is so that you'll pay attention to these dark things that are happening, because you have to be balanced, yin and yang. You can't just be light. You have to know how to function among the dark. So until and unless you begin to observe these situations from either the dark people in your life, not saying you have to throw yourself in it, but if you find it's a recurring thing, a recurring theme, that situations keep popping up and you keep dismissing them, you're going to find that over time, there's a nudge, the universe nudging these situations for you to pay attention and to focus, because until you learn the lessons, you're going to keep on having these experiences. And with a narcissist in your life, again, if you have either lived with a narcissist, have a narcissistic parent, whether you're in a relationship with a parent or whoever it is that's a narcissist, your boss, whether you've moved away from the situation, if you have not completely healed, you have not completely learned the lessons, then as much as you've moved away from the situation, there's still a lot more work for you to do. And unless you get to the point of observing the negative and balancing it with your positive, so you know how to flow amongst both negative people and people who want to do well, want to do good, are positive influences in your life, you will more than likely continue to have these situations. For me, when I used to have visions and dreams, the scary ones, I used to block them out. I wished away my visions because there were things that I didn't want to deal with. There were things that sometimes were scary. And because I didn't want to focus on dealing with scary things, I wished them away. But now, up until now, I understand the importance of why they're there. And so going through and doing the work, and I'm not saying that I'm sharing these things with you because I'm better than anyone in any way. It is my mission to share what I've gone through with you so that you can either not go down the same rabbit hole I've been through, or if you are going through them, to understand that you are able to come out on the other side, because many have done it and have passed through it, and you too are able to do the same thing and have your blessing and your abundant life that you deserve, because you are worthy of it. So the first thing I would like to share with you, as we are spirits having a human experience, we all have these lessons to pass through, and many of us, like myself, are tribe leaders, and you too could very well be the leader of tribes in which your purpose is great, that you have to share and help and be like that phoenix rising over the sun, coming up from the ashes, helping other people to heal. Many of you purpose includes teaching or coaching or helping or healing others. So we're all one, brothers and sisters, whether we resonate as masculine or feminine, but at the end of the day, our purpose is great. And these are directions to help guide you on that journey. So the first thing I'd like to share with you that will be blocking your blessing is lack of sleep. And for many years, I struggled with insomnia because I lived with depression, being in toxic relationship with a narcissistic mother and a narcissistic partner, even though at the time I had no clue my mother was exhibiting narcissistic traits. But the narcissist put my ass through the ringer. It was like one crazy whirlwind after another, day after day. And then I lost my only child. And then I pulled myself from that, reintegrated myself in society. 6 months later, I was in a vehicle accident, which took me over 6 years to get into any form of shape to re-enter society. And so in all those different instances, I lived through fibromyalgia, overactive bladder, irritable bowel syndrome, insomnia, depression, and anxiety and panic attack, to the point where I didn't want to live. I know I didn't want to take my life. I checked myself into a hospital because I know I didn't feel like I want to live. I didn't want to take my life because I believed that was a sin. But if I went to my doctor and I said, listen, if I went out in the road and a vehicle hit me, I would not complain. It would just be like relief for me. So I got hospitalized for depression. And that came upon me around 6 months, 1 year into the death of my son. And 6 months, 1 year into the death of my son. I think 6 months after, the accident happened. And then 6 months later, after the accident, was around a year into, so it came up on the anniversary of my son passing. So therefore, it was like I didn't feel like I wanted to live, and I didn't feel I had anything to live for. And with a narcissist in your life that can constantly whispering like a demon in your ear that you're nothing and you're no one. I remember one time he said to me, okay, you said you're having a bad day. Here's the balcony, jump. And I'm like, listen, even I know that my life is not that bad. And I didn't have those thoughts on my own. What kind of fucking demon are you? Right? So I remember not so long ago being in a very good and healthy position where I reminded him, like, this is the balcony you told me to jump from. You're having a bad day. How would you feel if I told you to use it right now? Anyways, that is not something that is necessary. But I'm just saying that toxic people come in your life to try to block you from experiencing your blessings and your abundance, because it hardly gets any more demonic than that. I'm sure it's worse, and there are worse things that happen to people out there. But I'm just giving you one of the far out example of, instead of you feeling comforted and supported by someone, to be having all these different things going through your mind, it's very challenging for you to sleep, right? But two main things that you rob yourself from when you do not sleep is called your upgrades and your downloads. So while you're asleep, as spirit having human experience, your spirit goes off into the spirit realm, spiritual realm, right? And many a times, sometimes you'll wake up and you'll see yourself looking all beautiful and you're like, wow, my skin looks good. I look good in the mirror. Like, what's going on with me? And that is because you've gotten an upgrade. Just like how you may take your car to the shop and you may install a stereo or install some nice rims or something like that. While you're asleep, the creator, universe, source, Allah, Yahweh, whatever you call him, upgrades your bodies, put you through different upgrades so that when you're at certain points, you may begin to notice that you have gifts you were unaware of, how to use them, or you forgot that you have them as a child. And you find yourself begin to either maybe do tarot reading, or you find yourself having visions that are sharing with you knowledge that is deep and profound that you probably had no clue that, whoa, where did that come from? Or you're able to recognize something in the universe like, whoa, I never understood or I never saw before. That tree looks so beautiful. The water is so lovely. The sunshine is so awesome. You get upgrades over time. So if you don't go to sleep, then you're robbing yourself from these upgrades that are your birthright. And then the downloads is like you sleeping and you have visions again. Or you have these dreams that some people use those and buy the lottery, or some people use them and find that they attain greater wisdom. You find that you're able to understand things that suddenly make sense to you, or you had no clue about these things before, and suddenly you have a certain knowing, as if you were in a different life before, what you did in that different life before, or you're able to share insights and wisdom you have no idea where it came from. So if you do not go to sleep, if you're in such a toxic relationship, or hurt, so deeply hurt by the trauma that you don't want to go to sleep because it's scary, or because you're so busy with life, you're doing multiple jobs and you find yourself so sad, and when you go to sleep, the only thing you do when you go to sleep is stress and worry, then you do not go to sleep to be able to get your upgrades and your downloads, right? So trauma and not dealing with the trauma, if you're still in a state where you do not prioritize sleep, then you're essentially robbing yourself from getting to even meet and know your higher self. Because over time, we live within the subconscious mind mainly, which is the program mind. We're programmed from birth. But when we heal ourselves, we're able to ascend on the vibrational chart. You will be able to see that the alpha is all those feelings, the shame, the fear, guilt, apathy, all those things are on the lower level of the vibrational frequency chart. Meanwhile, when you get to love, you've ascended to omega state, where you go into higher consciousness, where you then begin to live in your conscious or super conscious mind, which is your higher self. You're never alone. Even if you feel alone in the relationship or in life in general, you are never alone, because your higher self and your soul is there. Not to mention all your ancestors, your angel, your spirit guides, the creator are there. You are never alone. We are this great big source of oneness. Even if you feel like no one is looking out for you, you are never alone. So sleeping is critically important. Maybe because of the trauma, you may not have found it important to prioritize sleep, but sharing this with you is so that you begin to understand that if you don't prioritize sleep, you are blocking the creator's access to give you upgrades and downloads that will facilitate your blessings ahead. Moving on to number 2 is meditation. So I mentioned before the conscious brain, the conscious mind, and the superconscious mind. So when you're not dwelling in a state of subconscious mind, when you're not dwelling in the state of chaos, sadness, when you're not staying unhealed, and if you even remove yourself from the toxic or chaotic, abusive situation and trauma, but you tell yourself, you know what, I don't want to be in another relationship, which is your right, or I completely remove myself from toxicity, that is right. But not living your life fully is what I'm trying to say. Not trying to connect with your spirit, because many a time people go and they get baptized. They go and they get baptized thinking that there's this longing within me that I need to fill. And I feel like being baptized is going to bring them closer to the Creator. But they find over time that many of the people in their circle, their leaders, are living in most sinful lives, that it's not facilitating their growth, or it's not filling that void that they thought it would fill, and they find themselves right back or having to leave church, because it's not filling the void that they thought it would have filled. And then you begin to realize that being baptized does not lead to rebirth in that sense. Rebirth is within you. You're the only one that can bring yourself to rebirth, to be to be reborn. To be reborn. And getting dunked in a vat of water by another person does not wash away the things that you need to work on internally, and no one can do it for you. Only you are able to do it for yourself. So when you work on healing yourself, you owe it to yourself to nurture your spirit. And through meditation, meditation allows you to be able to quiet the mind, right? Because society conditioned us to believe that our brain needs to be functioning 24/7. There's so much chaos, so much trauma, there's so much abusive cycle that your brain function like a computer. At least the subconscious mind function like a computer. So if you're anything like me, I thought that my mind was a computer, because it at that time it just felt like it was going on 25 hours out of a 24-hour day. It was nonstop. And basically dealing with a narcissist, it was almost like there was just no spare time. I was having brain fogs and trouble with memory, and it was like heaviness in my head all the time. So all those things I dealt with up until now were like, it did not give me the ability to understand that when through meditation you learn to quiet the mind, you are able to silently just be and nurture your spirit. When you nurture your spirit through meditation, you're able to get more upgrades, more downloads, even through the process of meditation, especially through yoga. You're able to unlock a lot of those upgrades and downloads again, because you're moving the energy in your body around. We're all energy, and energy is everything. So when you quiet the mind, when you, through meditation or yoga or whatever exercise you feel is your specific choice, you're moving around the energy, allowing energy to flow within your body. And when energy flow, you unlock your chakras. That helps with healing, that helps to bring in clarity, that helps to bring about wisdom, and those things in itself will allow you to access your creativity and your abundance. We are all limitless beings, and we all have birthrights and inheritance that are specifically for us. But when we do not allow ourselves to flow within a peaceful state, when there's so much chaos and so much trauma, so much drama, then it's harder for you to focus. And I believe society does this through our programming of the subconscious brain from childhood to get us to not recognize that our spiritual selves, which is what make you feel like there's something missing from your life, the spiritual self that is not being nurtured is what will consistently allow you to feel like, I know there's something great that I need to do. I know there's something that I need. I just don't know what it is. But I know that where I am right now in life, this is not it. And for many people, that's why you hear when they say people go through midlife crisis, because they find themselves going through something and they may feel like, okay, they need to go live that life and live that life, or be with a younger person, or whatever the situation is, in order to fill that void. Meanwhile, it's the spirit that needs nurturing, that leaves you feeling that there's something missing. So meditation is very important to quiet your mind, and it helps to bring out your intuitive abilities, because even though your mind is supposed to be quiet, and many times through meditation, that's when my best thoughts come into play. Like, I'm like, whoa, seriously. When I'm done, I'm so inspired, because of course the mind continue to try to work. And when you try to quiet it, right, it's like the creator is able to come through. And this rolls into my third point quite easily. Is my third point is silent sitting. So in silent sitting, right, you are able to hear from the universe. When you're away from the computer, away from the TV, away from their phone, away from social media. In traumatizing relationship, abusive relationship, especially narcissistic relationship, again, I mentioned the mind is just constantly playing like it's on a loop, going on and on and on and on and on. It's like you can't even hear your thoughts. And then the narcissist is like a spoiled child, that even if they're not in your presence, it's like your mind is still going through the loop of the different toxic things that they put you through, right? And so you find yourself oversharing. You find yourself in need of validation. You find yourself being empathic or empathetic people who you do more than you need to, right? Just to ensure other people are good. Other people get to see and appreciate you. So you don't get to recognize that. Guess what? As a spirit, you need to be able to sit silently. And because the narcissist is a dark spirit, they don't allow you to be able to recognize that you need to be able to sit in silence, because the the creator is not going to come to you in a crowd where it's all noisy, where TV is blaring and your mind is busy. So for me, I love silent sitting. I crave silent sitting. I sit, and because I meditate and I don't have the toxic people, and I've healed from the toxic situation, the traumatic situation, I'm now able to hear more. And in silent sitting, sometimes you'll sit there, you could be heating while you're silent sitting, not with the TV on, not distracting yourself from social media, just somewhere where there's quiet around and you're not adding any noise to that environment. And you will be amazed at the intuitive insights that come through. The creator is not going to see like a painting in the wall and put something there. You are not going to see a painting on the wall and put a painting in front of it, right? If you have a piece of furniture in a place, in a particular space, you're not going to look to put another piece of furniture there. You're only going to put something where there's room. So when you silence it, you leave space, you leave room for the creator to be able to come in and to be able to talk to you. When you have all this trauma and drama and chaos running on a loop in your mind, your mama and papa, your creator doesn't feel welcome. There's no room for him to come in and give you the love, the comfort, the insights that you need to hear from him specifically, or those brilliant ideas that make you into multi-millionaire and trillionaires. Because you feel like it's impossible. Like, how can I hear? Like, your brain is so busy, like your mind is so busy, like there's so much going on. You're having panic and anxiety attack, aches and pain, lack of sleep, tiredness, life happening, toxic family, toxic partner, toxic parent, maybe toxic workplace, so much going on. Meanwhile, if you learn to silence it, then mama and papa is able to speak to you. He's not going to come to you because he's not a puffed up person in the middle of 99 million people and share with you those profound insights that you need to hear. So through silent sitting, you begin to learn that while you've gone through narcissistic abuse, for example, and you overshare, you learn to understand that. Stop telling people your business, because as much as you think that that person may be your good friend or whatever, they may be at a level on the vibrational chart which is just low, and they may be jealous. And even though they smile with you and tell you, oh, I'm so happy for you, congratulations, in their minds, they don't mean it. They're envious, and they're secretly sending you evil eye and all this kind of thing to hope that you'll lose that blessing. So when you overshare, it's like casting your pearls in front of swines. That's why when you have those brilliant ideas and you share them with people before they come to fruition, you find that they don't come to maturity. They don't come through anymore because the creator is trying to teach you to shut up. I was such a honest person that going through the narcissistic abuse, and I remember even growing up, I would get physical beatings from my mother when she asked me a question and I told her the truth, and she would smack me and, oh, you're being feisty. I was just an honest person, always telling the truth. I still am. But learning about silent setting, learning about the fact that if I stay open, and by being open mean leaving room for the creator or my higher self to share wisdom with me, then I find that more beneficial than using my mouth to talk so much, giving away my blessings and then blocking the potential for me to see my abundance. So through narcissistic abuse, for example, because of the toxicity, you end up seeking validation from the narcissist or from other people, right? Always sharing your business with people. I used to find what happened was I'll try to keep something quiet, not share it. And because the narcissist is a monitoring spirit, the narcissist used to ask me on a daily basis, so what's going on in your day today? Or what's in your day? What did you do today? And I found myself talking about things I probably would not share with anyone otherwise. And sometimes I tell myself, there's this particular thing that I'm working on, and I'm not talking about it. I'm not saying a word to anyone, and I meant it. And then someone like my mother, out of the blue, would just come to me and start talking about that very same thing that I said I don't want to speak of. Those are monitoring spirits that comes to destroy your blessings, where you tell yourself that it's something that you're not sharing with anyone, and even if you never shared with them before, all of a sudden you find that someone come in your presence and wants to suddenly talk to you about the very thing that you do not want to share about. That is the spirit of darkness that wants to spoil your plan, that has sent a monitoring spirit in to get that information about what you do not wish to share. Learning to be silent. Many people are now able to recognize people who have been in narcissistic relationship or have suffered trauma, because they recognize those are people who talk a lot, who share a lot, right? They overshare, and they're more talkative than many of the people in their surroundings. Pay attention to the people around you, even if they laugh and talk with you and they ask about your personal business. After you're done telling them about your business, see how talkative they are about their own. They're not. You're the one sharing, 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 sharing. And they may come and ask you and you begin to talk. And after you're done talking, then they're like, and then you're wondering, okay, how come they always encourage me to talk? And it's not like I go to talk to them. They're the one that come and ask me my business. And as soon as I'm done speaking, they make it seem as if like I'm a chatterbox. Monitoring spirits. And the more you talk is the more you give away your blessing. It's you casting your pearls in front of swines. It's you giving away your blessing. It's you giving away your material, your spiritual blessing. So silent sitting, learn silent sitting, because in silent sitting, the thing that you're missing out is, as I shared with you, that is when your intuitive abilities are most able to come through. It doesn't have to be through you hearing it through your physical ear. It could be a profound thought that comes to mind. You could be working on something and you might be stuck. Or even if you're not stuck, you find yourself having greater clarity about whatever it is that you're working on. So if you're not silent sitting and you're distracted, then you don't get to get those great insights, those intuitive insights that are meant for you. So moving on to number 4. So enforcing limiting beliefs. So when you're dealing with trauma and you're still not at a place of full healing, as within, so without. So whatever state you are on the inside, if you're unhealed on the inside, it reflects on the outside. You continue to attract people that are unhealed as well. And the other person doesn't want to make themselves seem like they are unhealed and is lacking control. So they're going to try to inflict pain, abuse, and trauma in your life so that they can feel like they're in a better place than you are. So it's very important for you to heal, because when you heal on the inside, you will begin to attract healthy people on the outside. Hurt people attract hurt people and hurt you more. Unhealed people attract unhealed people, but they inflict more pain and trauma onto you because they don't want to seem like the one that are unhealed. right? So if you're a healed person, you will likely attract a person in good health or a person who was healed. And because they understood the importance of the work that they had to put in themselves to heal, they're not going to partner with anyone who is unhealed. And you, as a healed person, will then attract a healed person. And therefore, when you tell yourself, I don't want to be in a relationship again, that's blocking your abundance. But when you're open, doesn't mean you have to be, but when you remain open, you'll find that if you're a healed person, you will begin to attract healed people who will bring you happiness. And together, your potential of having blessings will be greater. So, enforcing limiting beliefs when you're dealing with toxic people, narcissistic people, for example, you're constantly living in a state of scarcity and poverty, right? They keep on enforcing a scarcity mindset and a poverty mindset because they don't want you to rise. So they'll constantly sabotage your efforts. Any efforts that you have, you're trying to do anything because they feel like the potential is great that you will excel. And if you excel and you achieve any kind of breakthrough that puts you in a great position, then they cannot hold your resources hostage, and then they are unable to block you from evolving. So they fear that if you evolve, then you're going to reject them. And because they're afraid of being rejected and are insecure people, right, they will continuously try to sabotage your efforts. And therefore, they try to work real hard to get you to live in a scarcity mindset where you feel like you have to compete with other people to get what you need. But you don't have to compete with anyone because you are a unique being. And there's room for everyone out there. So you don't have to be competitive with other people and grabbing and cramming and doing shady things, cutting corners in order to get what's yours, because what is yours is yours. No one can take what is yours. And the more healed you are, you'll begin to see and recognize that. And living in the poverty mindset, even if you've overcome scarcity mindset and you overcome your limiting beliefs, feeling like you're not good, you're not worthy, all these kind of things, then you will begin again to allow positive people and positive things and positive opportunities to flow in your life because you're not dwelling on negativity, right? I wondered in the past, how come I used to just attract these, it's just all negative people at the time, negative experiences. But again, as within, so without. So if you have those things within you, then the universe is going to think that, okay, my child is saying that they want these experiences because they keep ruminating on it. And when you ruminate on it, that's you amplifying those emotions. And when you amplify those emotions, people hurting you, people being mean, people just being evil to you, when you think and dwell on those things over and over and over, then you're sending the signal to the universe that that is what you want to attract. So you keep on attracting. Every reality exists already from before we were born. So therefore, when you live in that particular state, you're attracting that particular timeline to yourself, those particular experiences to yourself. If you live in abundance, even if you are unhealed, you will realize that you begin to attract more abundance because you're living as if you're an abundant person. And so therefore you begin to attract those experiences to you. So limiting beliefs and scarcity mindset, where you feel like there's never enough and you're never going to have a good life and never this, never that, not this, not that, you don't deserve this, da, 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 da. That is what you'll continue to attract. So move away from limiting beliefs, scarcity mindset, poverty mindset, and that will be half the battle that you have to go through in order to unlock your blessing. Moving to number 5 is self-discovery. With self-discovery, right? As in getting to understand yourself, getting to know yourself. When you've gone through a traumatic situation, like any of the abuses that I mentioned in the past, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and you live with trauma within, or you're living in a relationship with a narcissist, again, whether it be a family member, parent, partner, or a toxic boss, but a narcissist being thrown in a dynamic, that is to ensure that you never find out who you are. That is to ensure that you never begin to even have a clue as to who you are, because it's so much darkness and so much chaos within or amongst you that you don't begin to sit by yourself and see that, hey, I have this skill set. Hey, I want to do that business. I would be great at it. There's so much cloudiness happening that you don't get to realize who you are. So through self-discovery, with all the chaos they put in your sphere, you don't get to begin to recognize yourself. And if you don't recognize yourself, then you cannot give yourself the self-love you deserve. Through self-discovery, you get to learn yourself. You get to learn who you are. When you're by yourself and the narcissist is not around you, you get to realize, hey, I love sleeping on this side of the bed, or I love it when it's quiet like this, or I like watching that show. It fulfills this thing within me, right? Hey, they're not hovering over the TV, so I get to watch something that I want. You get to understand what you like about yourself, what you love about yourself. And then you realize that, okay, over time, you may still have negative self-talk and low self-esteem, right? And those are things that is great for you to work at, because when you work at negative self-talk and begin to talk positively to yourself, I am beautiful, I'm awesome, I am worthy, as opposed to telling yourself, oh, you're useless, people treat you like crap, you probably deserve it. No, you don't deserve it. You never deserve it. It's wrong of them to do that to you. You never deserve it. Beautiful soul, you never, ever, ever deserve it. No matter if you didn't make the food well, or you didn't prepare their whatever the heck they want the way they like, let them go do it their bloody selves. It's not on you. If they were to leave you alone, you would find just how beautiful and how great and how wonderful you are. So through self-discovery, or them blocking you with so much chaos, you don't get to explore self-discovery. So you get to give yourself the self-love that you deserve, so you can speak to yourself positively and tell yourself, I am worthy, I am limitless, I am beautiful, I am wonderful, I deserve this blessing, this is my birthright, I claim my birthright, I own my birthright, it belongs to me. Claim the good things that are yours, because what shows up for you is for you. So through self-discovery or lack of self-discovery, they're able to get you to block your blessing, because you don't truly know who you are, your values, your core values. May have an idea, but lacking boundaries, right? They have stepped on your boundaries to the point where you don't know who you are, right? And you can't set boundaries because they keep on breaking them, or surpassing them, or trampling your boundaries. So you don't get to understand who you truly are at the core. So all the toxicity and the trauma and the drama are meant to keep you stuck from being able to explore who you are truly. Now, I'm at my sixth point and my final point. I did not intend to make a long video, but I could not really explain these things to you without giving you some more insight into these things. So if you are at this point in the video, I appreciate you, and you must truly love yourself to be even able to sit here and to be listening to me talk about these things, because you know you are worthy. That's the reason why you found this interesting enough to stick around to hear how you can improve your life. And I applaud you for that. I love and appreciate you for that, because it took a lot for you to give yourself the time and to recognize that, hey, there must be a better way for me, so let me listen to this weird person. I love myself, so thank you. Anyway, so the sixth point, and the most critical point of all, is not only the thing that blocks you, that society itself try to get you to not recognize, to get you to not embrace, but the trauma and the drama brought on by a narcissist definitely doesn't want you to have any kind of entanglement with this one thing. And it's the thing that makes you who you are. It is the thing at the core of everyone else, that why there's room in society for everyone, and you don't have to compete with anyone, because we're all unique. Even if someone out in the universe is doing the same thing that you're thinking of doing, it doesn't have your energetic signature. So therefore, it doesn't matter if it's been done already. It's not being done by you. There's room out there for you to do this. And that is your authenticity. Your authenticity. You know, people out there who dress a particular way and look a particular way and walk out and don't care. That's them being their authentic self. That is the secret sauce. That is the thing that narcissistic relationship, narcissists in general, don't know about authenticity. They just know that they don't want you to be it. They know that you're a unique person, and they envy the crap out of you. They envy you to the point that the reason why they partner with you is because you have this thing in spades, and they wish they could be you. Even if they cannot name it by name, they know that there's something about you that is so different that they wish they could inhabit, but they know they can. So what they do is they take you and they project onto you so that you give it over to them. So therefore, your authenticity. Like me, I've always known I don't like dressing up. I used to call myself Cinderella. I went by Cindy for a while. What that was to me is, I love feeling like I'm in my own skin. I love dressing casual. I love maybe wearing jeans. I don't like going to work where I have to be dressed up in monkey suits. I used to work in the bank, and when I was done working in the bank, it was like, whoa, I'm peeling off layers going out the door. I could not wait to get home. Like before I began driving, I could not wait to get home. I would start just stripping off layers when I was done working. And when I began driving, then I had my extra shoes and whatever to take off some of my work attire and just breathe. And even now, my favorite go-to is sporty casual look, because I feel at home when I dress that way. I don't do it for anyone but myself. And when I was recovering from the vehicle accident, I had to be wearing more loose-fitting clothes, baggy clothing, just to be able, when I go to physio appointment, to be able to take off layers easily in order to get my physio treatment. And that just kind of reinforced my feeling of wanting to dress casual. For me, I will wear leggings and tank tops and my hats and my sunglasses. That's generally me. I feel at home. And if I have to go in a work environment, I love dressing casual, like wearing jeans. Like, firstly, I don't enjoy going in work environments because I have to be dressed up when I do that. I have to be struggling to control the air conditioner because I'm anemic and it's always too cold, so I have to be wearing extra, even more layers than I would like to. But the narcissist, for example, I love wearing my hair blonde. And I was always being told, you need to look normal. You need to stop wearing your hair blonde, like black or brown, so you don't stand out. That's how it is to be normal. I've never been normal, and I don't wish to be normal. Normal is what a person who lives in their subconscious mind does. But when you're an authentic person, I've been told I'm unique from way back when. And I knew there was something different about me. I didn't want to blend in with anyone. And even if everyone else was like, do it, do that, like I just always felt like, why do it your way? And one of the things that the narcissist could never get around me is like, when you're authentic, they cannot predict your next move. You're not meant to be predicted. You're not meant to be predictable, right? It is your authenticity. It is how the Creator keeps you safe. If you live authentically, no one can figure you out. And if they can't figure you out, they cannot attack you as easily. So if you live like a normal person, then you have this herd and hive mind mentality, this herd mentality where they can all show me your company, I tell you who you are. You function like that person, so the same thing I used to zap that person, I can use to zap you. When you live in your authenticity, even if they have an idea of who you are, they can never tell who you are. The one great thing about me is I'm so authentic that half the time I'm still learning about me. I know there are core beliefs that I have that I maintain, and I love being authentic. I am not anyone else. Telling me to be someone else, like I've said, is like telling me to change the color of my blood. Because in my core, I could not be normal if I tried, right? It is just hard to do because that's not me. And I've never tried to be anything but myself. And when you're with people who are emotional, physical, sexual, abusive, and especially narcissists, the one thing that saves you, the one thing that keeps you many a times, which is like a security feature that is built into you, that the Creator built into you, is your authenticity, because the narcissist cannot always figure you out. With your authenticity, you have a regenerative powers that no matter how many times they pound you, they can never win over you. So, beautiful souls, stay authentic. Don't blend in with any crowd. When you are authentic, your blessings spills out regardless of whatever situation you find yourself escaping many traps that were meant to take your life. Your authenticity is your superpower. So I thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you. If you found you resonate with anything shared in this video, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Namaste to you, beautiful souls.